It's Friday night, and what the fuck are you doing? I'll tell you what you're doing. You're sitting home dreaming about sweaty, built men in underwear. And who better to do it with than the Iconoclastic Wrestling Podcast? And here's your host, Iconoclast and Dick Taco.
Welcome to the Iconoclastic Wrestling Podcast. And here's your hosts, Iconoclast and Dictato.
Welcome to the Iconoclastic Wrestling.
You're never going to stop doing that, are you?
No.
It's like somebody talking about, I can't believe Lou Gehrig died of Lou Gehrig's disease.
Podcast. I'm Iconoclast.
And I am Dick Taco. Back, I have unfortunately lived to see another sunrise.
And let's get into the news. So I wanted to talk about some old stuff that I was watching.
Yeah, go ahead, because we got a lot of shit to do.
So let's go to our semi-weekly trip to Iconoclast's Shitty Wrestling Corner, where we review...
We should get you a theme song. It's Iconoclast's Shitty Wrestling Corner.
Where we talk about the various shitty wrestling that I find on YouTube, dug from the depths of Sonny Siaki's ass.
From the ass crack of the Total Nonstop Action Vault, I'm sure.
There
ain't nothing worse than that.
I was watching that, and I was watching JCW.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other tier below. It's like TNA, then there's JCW, then there's Trainwreck, then there's nothing else.
Trainwreck Pro Wrestling.
Oh
no!
I refuse to ever feature them on this show again.
No, JCW. We're going to talk about them first.
Jersey, right? Jersey Championship Wrestling?
No. Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
Oh, you found them.
Yes.
I was hoping you never would.
Run by the Insane Clown Posse, who I'm hoping we can also get Violent J on this show at some point.
Not unless I can stab him.
Why do you hate the Insane Clown Posse?
I never liked them. I just thought they were fucking stupid. Their whole gathering. They used to have wrestling matches at that gathering of the Juggalos thing. That was a decent deal about 10, 15 years ago, the Juggalo Championship Wrestling. You would hear about it. Well, doesn't mean it was any good. You would just hear about it.
Well, because I was watching this thing. I told you they had their Legends and Icons pay-per-view in the early 2010s, which I want us to watch and review. It's even worse than NWA.
Yeah, you want us to watch it and review it, but does anybody want to hear about it?
That's when you get like 68-year-old Superfly Jimmy Snuka versus Tony Atlas.
You know, I always wanted to see if Snuka hung around long enough where he got really bad dementia and started calling everybody Nancy and admitted that he killed her. Like Robert Wagner with Natalie Wood. I always thought he was going to admit that he killed her.
So then we had, I had that, but then this was their weekly television show. Because they had a television show, but it was so vulgar. It was not broadcast on TV. It was direct to DVD.
Ugh.
I've never heard of anything.
So it's not really a television show. Straight to video.
It was an hour long. Like you would release it on different. They only had about 5 people on their roster.
You know what a pain in the ass that would be, though, if you had a weekly television show that you had to fucking press the DVDs and then ship to people? I mean, now you should stream it, but
I mean, like
stream
so
it.
You had there's like 5 wrestlers on the roster. There's the Insane Clown Posse themselves are the commentary, and the 5 wrestlers. It was like Zach Gowen.
One-legged man in an ass-kicking contest, Zach Gowen.
Tracy Smothers.
R.I.P. He died a couple years ago.
Who was like the crazy old man on the show.
That wasn't an act. He was in the, wasn't he in the FBI yet?
Yes, he was one of the original FBI members.
Well, the Big Don was Tommy Rich.
Big Don, Tommy Rich, Tony Mamalook, Tracy Smothers.
Big Vito was another one. No. Sally Graziano, the fat fuck.
Sally Graziano.
Vito, little Guido used to come out on his shoulders. Going like that.
Yeah, and then they had,
but he was immense. He was like 500 pounds.
Yeah, and then they had Tony Mamaluke, and then the Italian Stallion.
Yeah, wait, Tony Mamaluke and Big Vito wound up going to WCW later, and they were the Baldies just because they were shaved head. They were running out of ideas.
And and Little Guido and Tracy Smothers. No, and then they had like 3 other guys, but it's the Insane Clown Posse's commentary that is just disgusting. Like
look at him, for Christ's sake!
Like they go on this whole rant about, like they have this whole discussion about like the necessity of prison,
sex,
of snuggle with a struggle, about the
what about being in prison and having sex with men?
Yes, forcibly.
Well, all right. Well, that's horrible. I mean, it's disgusting too.
And they were talking about that or something, and I don't even know. And then I was watching that, but then also just the last 2 days, I was watching some of my favorite shows that I also get because I got the Impact channel. The NWA TNA.
They're paying you to watch that, right?
The NWA TNA pay-per-views, where they did weekly pay-per-views.
They have them all over YouTube because I've converted a bunch of them.
Because
I like between like 2006 and 11.
No, this is before this. We're talking like 2003.
For the Asylum Arena and all that shit where they used to do.
Yeah, like we got shit. We got stars for days. We got Raven cutting promos in a dark room.
So you can't see him?
Yeah.
It's like tornado footage.
Where CM Punk and Julio De Niro are trying to work for him again, and Punk looks like he's like a druggie or something.
So no different. He just has shorter hair now.
And he wears a beanie.
Yeah.
And then he's got, we also got Eric Watts, who's, and
I can't get away from him.
Don
I can't fucking get away from him.
Who, with hair, and they have dueling security teams, the red shirt security and the black shirt security.
Yes, I remember that.
And of course,
that's the Nazi Harris brothers and all that.
Yes, and of course the black shirt security is the Harris twins.
Of course, the black shirts, the SS Nazi shitheads.
And then the red shirts are like Kevin Northcutt and some other guy. And they're always having matches. There's the gifted Glenn Gilberti, Disco Inferno, and who manages, he's got his team, the New York Connection, Simon Diamond and Johnny Swinger.
Those are old ECW guys, yeah.
Yeah, along with the master of the cab driver slam, David Young, who is the most, like, out of shape, in shape guy I've ever seen.
That's a big club.
What?
Out of shape guys.
In shape guys, though. And I saw this match with Conan where his pants were halfway down.
That's the way he wrestled in the late 90s, early 2000s.
I'm trying to think who else was there. AJ being managed by Vince Russo. Roddy Piper cutting promos
about
of like
Vince Russo killing Owen Hart.
No, that was
I've
earlier.
seen that promo. I've seen that.
That was earlier. This is like him cutting promos in his living room of him like punching a training dummy. Dusty Rhodes, who was there at one point.
He got a bicycle.
There was America's Most Wanted, the X Division.
How about Chris Harris? You seen him lately? He's eating himself to 1-800-94 Jenny.
He used to be fatter. But there was also, of course, then there's the X Division, which is actually good.
Yeah, that's one of the few things that they invented or innovated that was
they had like
really good.
I was seeing like a match with like Chris Sabin, Sanjay Dutt, and X, which was PCO under a mask.
Yeah, he was on something the other day. They were showing like wrestlers from the 90s that are unrecognizable now, and he was number one.
PCO?
Yeah, because he looks like
Frankenstein.
All right, well, does that do it for your TNA shit?
Let's see, I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah, there's also Jimmy Hart is all over the place.
Yeah, in the beginning, he's there.
No.
Anybody that didn't have a job was there.
Because that was the whole point.
There was no other place to go.
It was like World Wrestling All-Stars.
Oh, here it is again.
World Wrestling All-Stars is like Bret Hart, Psycho, Sid Justice.
Luger, Steiner, all those guys, yeah.
Yeah. All the guys that didn't have a job right away. And actually, Jerry Lawler.
He really did? Oh, when he got fired because his wife got fired, he quit right after.
Yeah, and that's
Stacey
when
Carter.
he did the he did the commentary.
He won't even appear. You can't even get him on camera with your phone if you go to a convention. He'll fucking freak out on you. I watched it on YouTube because he's not Legends contract. You're not allowed to be on camera unless WWE's paying for it. It's fucking insane, isn't it? But he gave this guy. He was like at a comic convention or something. It wasn't even WWE related. He gave this guy a fucking ration of shit. Like, for trying to get him on there. And he goes, I ain't going to fucking tell you again. Like, he threatened to hit the guy or something. Like, it was fucking little prick.
Didn't he have a heart attack recently?
He had a stroke.
Oh.
They found him face down in the driveway.
Okay.
That's the second time. He had the heart attack on Raw. I was watching that. So, all right. You want to get to the news? Do you mind if I do the news? Is that okay now?
Fine.
All right. Well, let's get to it then.
Let's not talk. Okay, Vince stuff everyone else is already talking about.
But I just want to bring this up because, and let me tell you, you may get pissed off at some of the stuff we report on. We are like a week ahead of Jim Cornette, at least, with some shit. He's still reporting on the end of February. So you got to follow the news. You don't make it up.
Wait, does he record every single week?
He does like 8 or different shows. He does The Experience. He does Jim Cornette's Drive-Thru. He does like, and they're like 3-hour episodes a piece. Like, I'm not sitting here for 3 hours.
No, we barely do an hour.
Oh, well, it's good if we do. I wouldn't mind doing an hour and a half if we had a lot of stuff. But anyway, and now the news. Vince McMahon sells roughly 25% of his TKO stock, netting $400 million. Now, he sold it right when everything happened for sold the rest of it for $700 million. So he's sitting on $1.1 billion. Lee Cole, the guy who Tom Cole's brother from the Ring Boy scandal, thinks he's going to lend it
to Trump to appeal the New York fraud case and run the clock out to win the election.
And then when Vince gets in trouble getting for, human trafficking, he'll pardon him.
Yeah, but you can't pardon him for civil issues.
No, but if it comes into but you know what? This whole civil thing, you think she's going to go for money when this guy already dicked her for money first? No pun intended. Dicked her for money. Good choice of words.
I don't think the money's the point here, though.
No,
it's just about getting
she wants it out there. Yeah. So, I mean, if it becomes criminal by the FBI, like, they're looking at him, and they got his phone now and everything, so.
Okay. Sammy Guevara, suspended for not following concussion protocol. I really wish they would just fire him.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything to me. But you know what? This is the second time, though, when Moxley got hurt. Remember when he had to give up the international title? Because that fuckface, who was it? Ray Phoenix. It was Ray Phoenix, though, who picked him up and dropped him on his head again after he got hurt. That's the reason Guevara is suspended. For doing a move on his head after that.
It was on Rampage, so no one actually saw it.
Well, that's why I have trouble finding the clips. My clip with the Tom and Jerry yell when the guy got the knee in the face was better than the actual match. But
John Cena, I saw about this.
I had a feeling about this in 2012. Go ahead.
But he was planning to turn heel in 2012 after he lost to The Rock at WrestleMania 28.
Because the commentators were even like setting it up. Like, I don't know how Cena's going to deal with this. But apparently he said he had new T-shirts made, a new outfit.
Why didn't they do it?
They just changed their mind. Like a lot of stuff that Vince did.
After an interaction last year, John Cena admits on trying to get MJF to join WWE.
Why wouldn't you? I would if I was there.
Good point, but he didn't go.
No, and I hope he doesn't go because I hope they sit him for a little bit and he comes back. Yeah, I think he can.
Well, he's rehabbing a shoulder injury.
Oh my God, they could use him so good right now because they don't really have, with Kenny out and with him out, that's a big blow.
No, it's not. Listen,
they got Okada in there.
I want to talk about this right now. This past Dynamite on Wednesday, the Dynamite after Revolution, is one of the best ones.
It's like the Raw after WrestleMania.
You can tell that they're really trying to push the start of like a new era here. They got a new set.
I do not like the entryways. They look like orange condoms. Big orange circles.
What?
And all I think
they're not orange. They're like translucent.
And okay. Whatever the picture I saw.
And they change color based on the lights on the screen.
Okay. When I saw it, it looked orange. I was like, it's like glow in the dark rubber.
There's just one big screen with a smaller screen in the middle, which can go up for the EVP elevator, as it's now officially called.
That is fucking... CM Punk really lives in their head, doesn't he? Rent free.
No. The Bucks are doing the best work they've done. The best work I've ever seen them do with this new like heel authority figure gimmick that they're doing.
I don't know.
I think Tony Khan listens to our show when I was saying that they need a Mr. McMahon character.
Yeah, but not them.
Why not?
They don't do a goddamn thing for me.
They're great wrestlers.
Oh, stop it! Every week we're going to argue about this. Are you trying to get a new co-host or something? Do you want me out of here? Is that why you keep bringing this shit up?
No, because you want to
drive me crazy.
Again, you just want.
I'm reporting on the wrestling news.
You want out of shape guys.
No,
to be wrestling rare.
No,
FTR does not look like they're in shape.
Oh, Eddie Kingston looks like he's in shape.
Eddie Kingston looks like he could beat your
ass. Kingston looks like he's in shape.
Kenny King?
Yeah, Kenny King. That's his name. When I mix them up, Eddie Kingston. I happen to like them.
No, but I'm talking about the Bucks. The Bucks are the best tag team of the 2010s.
I have nothing to say about that.
I know you say they're herky jerky.
No, I've said that from Blood and Guts. Blood and Guts. I haven't said that since Blood and Guts, but they were in that match. That whole match was a fucking shit barn. They
got their new ring gear. They come out in like classic robes, and then they have like a suit vest and pants.
I saw
and boots.
I do like that they're playing this up. But it really,
they fired Kenny from the Elite, and they suspended Hangman without pay.
What, for attacking the official?
Yeah, 2 officials. And then they revealed the newest member of the Elite, Okada.
Kazuchika Okada, which I would like to see him as a heel. I think that's I think that's going to be promising. Especially if you have somebody talk for him. Yeah. Like, you know who he would be good with? Fucking Don Callis talking for him. Fuck taking shit. Put Okada in there. Okada floss his teeth with take a shit.
Don Callis already has enough clients.
Yeah, Will Ostrich and take a shit, yes.
And Green as Turtle Shit Hobbs.
Oh, he has him too?
And Kyle Fletcher.
Kyle Felcher? I called him out one week because I messed up his name.
Kyle Fletcher, who's basically been forced to become a single star because his tag team partner keeps getting hurt.
From Aussie Open? Yeah, they did a whole hell of a lot when they got there, didn't they?
Well, because Mark Davis was hurt.
I know.
And then he wrestled one match, then he hurt himself again.
They never did right by them anyway, putting them on the pre-show, having them job the fucking MJF and Cole, and never really doing anything with them after that. They did more with the Righteous, with Vincent and Dutch, that fat fuck.
Who are now being managed by Jake the Snake Roberts. But also on the show.
Yeah, it's a new 4 horsemen. It's Jake, the Righteous, and Jake's Oxygen Tank. All 4 of them.
Lance Archer. And then we had, also on that episode, they had Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher in the main event, which was really good. I really liked the match. Ospreay just, hits his big moves, controls the crowd. And then at the end of the match, at the very end, this is when I texted you, Danielson comes out, and they stare each other down.
Yeah, I did watch that after you told me.
And they continued this on Collision from Saturday, as of yesterday when we're recording this.
Yeah.
They continued it where Danielson had a match with one of your favorite wrestlers, Shane Taylor.
Oh. Fatty McSwim trunks.
He wasn't in swim trunks. He was in a singlet.
Oh, big deal. Covers up that nice set of tits he has.
Hey, they were. Nigel McGuinness was on commentary talking about his boxing training and his Muay Thai training.
Who? Shane Taylor?
Yeah.
He hit Nigel. I'm like, Nigel's got hepatitis. Nobody wants him bleeding on him.
No. Nigel's not talking about how he's got boxing.
No, that's
and Muay
what I
Thai
thought you
training.
meant first. Yeah.
Shane Taylor's got boxing and Muay Thai training, and now he was punching Danielson, and Danielson kicked him in the face. And after that match was over, after Danielson pinned him, after he defeated Shane Taylor, who was out there with the rest of Shane Taylor Promotions.
Shane Taylor Promotions.
This is fashion.
He's a fucking nobody.
He's got his own faction.
He needs to quit and be a talent agent. He's not a good wrestler.
He's got his own faction in Ring of Honor. It's him, Lee Moriarty, and someone who walks out carrying a flag with their
Lee Moriarty?
Tiger Style.
Oh.
He used to be with Big Bill.
Oh, all right. Enough.
No, but then after that match, Ospreay came out, and they faced each other down. They talked a little bit, and Ospreay basically said that, I came to AEW to be the best wrestler in the world, and it's time I prove it.
Who, Ospreay?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so he says, if I'm going to be the best wrestler in the world, I got to beat you. So they announced.
And he will, because Danielson doesn't beat anybody anymore. They don't book him to.
Because he doesn't want to.
Well, don't keep putting him out. You got to give him a fucking win once in a while to make me actually think he can fucking win one.
It doesn't matter who wins. What matters is the good match.
Yeah, but it matters to me. You're going to keep putting the guy out there to lose 10 in a row. You know what that makes the guy? A loser.
Doesn't matter if he's putting on bangers every time he goes out there.
He should get a win once in a while. Spice it up.
When James Bond gets taped down, gets strapped down to the metal table with the laser going up to cut him in half, you know he's going to escape. That's not what it's about. It's about how he escapes.
How do you know he's going to escape? That movie, you're talking about Goldfinger. That was 1964. People might not have known he was going to escape.
It's an expression.
You expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
It's an expression. You don't need a swerve every single time. You don't need to...
Swerve till I die. Yeah, don't get me started on why he's not the world heavyweight champion right now.
No, well, that's going to be happening probably at Dynasty.
It needs to. Dynasty.
Their next...
Is Larry Hagman coming?
What?
Is Larry Hagman going to be a special guest?
But they did announce that Danielson versus Ospreay will be at Dynasty.
Well, I'll watch it because I got that app working now.
Because, I think that the two matches that hopefully are going to headline Wembley, that I've already seen people saying, are going to be Danielson and Ospreay in a rematch, whether it's a second or third, and Omega versus Okada 5.
Yeah, because you wouldn't be able to do... I'd rather see Danielson and Ospreay instead of Omega and Ospreay. What would that be, 3?
No, but they're going to be setting up Omega and Okada.
Well, Omega is not going to be cleared by the 5-1 Dynamite in Winnipeg, which sucks because that's his hometown.
Yeah, because they're already setting it up with Kenny getting fired from the Elite. And
yeah, but wasn't he beefing with the EVPs already anyway? Because weren't him and Jericho a team? Yeah, he was already beefing them.
The fact that there was already like some simmering tension there, where Kenny was still trying to be friends with them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then the Bucks, the idea is here, it's like the final part. Or they're like, listen, Kenny, we got to fire you. You know, like, you haven't made any of your dates. You just haven't showed up at all.
Because he's injured.
That was what they commented. They're heels.
I know.
They're some of the
Don't you tell me. I'm telling your cousin up there. He's like, well, I hate Logan Paul. We're watching Elimination. I'm like, you're supposed to. He's a natural heel.
They're setting the Bucks up as some of the top heels on the show.
More AEW news. Jack Perry.
Yeah, I saw him.
He insinuated he asked for his release before his then JPW debut. That's bullshit. That's kayfabe. It's got to be.
That's kayfabe.
They have a working relationship. He's a loser. Why is all I ask. He joined the House of Torture. Yeah, after his first win. Which who did he beat? Did he beat that Shota Umino? Because so tight. He beat them. And I'm sorry, the only thing torturous is watching him wrestle.
House of Torture is like a technically part of Bullet Club, but not really. It's like Evil.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
It's Evil, Dick Togo.
Oh, Dick Togo. You know, I told you can't even make him
up.
Know. They put star Togo.
Ren Narita, Yoshinobu Kanemaru.
I know who he is too.
It's guys who have quit other factions. And then Dick Togo from Kaintai.
He's fucking like Christ. He's almost like 60.
So Taka Michinoku still wrestles.
In more news, it's going to piss you off. Good old JR signs new contract.
I don't care. As long as they keep him off the show for the most part. But Jack Perry is actually wrestling tomorrow as of recording this again. He's wrestling in the second round of the tournament. I saw his entrance.
Who's the IWGP champ? It's Naito, right?
Yeah, Naito's the champ. Jack Perry came out with a goat like helmet mask thing on because that's his thing. He's saying he's a scapegoat.
It makes no sense. They fired the other guy. Who's letting him do this? A fucking idiot.
No, there's a bunch of guys in other promotions that are doing work over there right now. Him, Riddle.
Yeah, but Riddle is a former MMA fighter and he can move. Dolph Ziggler is one of the best workers. He's like Kurt Hennig and Jeff Jarrett had a baby. I mean, that's how good he is. And, but like then you put in jungle jerk off Jack Perry.
You hate him so much.
Because he caused that problem. I told you before, CM Punk, in the only match CM Punk had in AEW, big time match where he didn't get injured, was the All-In match when he left after that. And I like to see CM Punk in AEW better than the WWE Punk. I think this is like a fucking clown show with him now.
Everyone's a clown show in WWE.
I don't know.
Unless you're Samoan.
That Rock, Roman, Seth, Cody thing's really picking up heat. Sting retires from AEW 28-0. Never lost.
I know. He's
never
undefeated.
Put anybody over. But was he asked to? Probably not.
Him and Darby are undefeated as a tag team. They vacated the titles as undefeated champions.
And the Live Revolution broadcast, they cut off his fucking retirement speech.
Yeah, that's not their fault. That's the cable providers.
It's your fault when you don't tell the cable provider you're not going to pay for another, overrun. Same shit happens to them when people are recording their stuff and they miss the last 5 minutes. Me, I always put an extra half hour. But that's on the company for not setting it up.
Well, Tony Khan only has 2 working brain cells.
Yeah, I know. Well, then he's got to get somebody else in there, like a tech guy or something. Did you get WWE 2K24?
No, why would I?
I did not get it either. But I found out there's more shit going on in there with, the...
Vince has his head blurred out.
Yeah, they showed something next to Charlotte and his face is put out. I'm like, are you serious? But then I saw something else.
They makes it more obvious.
No, but they were showing something from The Rock. Now, this must be currently blurred out to stay with Vince, but when they became WWE, there was a thing put in place that they couldn't even show anything with the old scratch WWF logo for however many years, even on the network, which ever since then you can now. But they were showing footage from Rock Austin WrestleMania X7. They have all the turnbuckles WWF blurred out, the ref's face, all this stuff. So they're using old footage that's not been restored. I don't like that at all. You should be able to put whatever you want in there now. But yeah, he's blurred out, which I don't know how you're going to erase Vince McMahon from the...
It's not like Benoit, where that was at least...
This guy made everything we're looking at. If it wasn't for this guy...
The entire Attitude Era, he's like the main character.
Yeah. What are you going to do? I mean, that's like, holy shit. And what did we say before? He was a ring announcer. He started there in 69. So you go all the way back to there when he was in that. You're going to blur him out of everything for the past 50
You're going to mute the commentary on 20 years worth of matches?
Yeah, when he was the main commentator from 93 to 97 with JR. Because Gorilla semi-retired and all that. But
Is that picture holding the belt? Is that Jimmy Hart?
Yeah, that belt's signed by them. It's all signed by all three of them. There's a certificate.
Jimmy Hart.
If you want to know what my co-host talking about, I have a signed toy WWF tag team belt signed by the entire Hart Foundation. Brett, Jim the Anvil, and Jimmy Hart. So you never noticed that before? Yeah, you never noticed that before? Those glasses are signed by Hitman too. Phil got me those.
No, but I noticed that was Jim Neidhart, but I didn't know.
Oh yeah, it's on the back. It's all signed by all three of them on the back.
Teddy Hart.
All right, in more AEW news for the video game, I finally got Claudio for Season 3.
Why do you keep talking about the game?
Because I finally got Owen Hart, too. After 100 exhibition matches that unlocked in the store.
Was it worth it?
No. He's wearing his old Stampede gear, the blue and the orange gear. It doesn't even... what can I say about that game? I can't say enough bad shit. That once every 6 months, they talk me into buying something. And that's probably what they're going to do now with the new Dynamite Arena. 3 months from now, you'll get a new DLC package with one wrestler and the Condom Arena for $15. But every once in a while, I turn it on, play it, and then they'll touch it for 6 months because it has nothing. There's still no new match types. Lex Luger thinks drug issues and Elizabeth's death in 2003 is what's keeping him out of WWE Hall of Fame. Duh! Murderer! Oh, by the way, they weren't allowed. Him and Paige weren't allowed to appear on TV because of their WWE contracts.
Yeah,
they were backstage.
Yeah, Kevin Nash wasn't allowed to be there. Period.
Well, maybe he didn't ask again. I don't know. I'm going to skip over this Young Bucks thing because we talked about that already.
What?
The whole thing about the Young Bucks poking fun at Punk and bringing in Okada and firing him.
How are they poking fun at Punk?
Well, they said that Okada's the biggest signing in history, which is what they said about Punk. They are signing. They have more sleepless nights trying to take jabs at him than he does about them. He could care less about them now, I'm sure. It's like Ventura and Hogan years ago.
God, fuck CM Punk. His name fills me with a vitriolic rage.
I don't understand why.
Every time he is in sadness, I feel
You were
joy.
all happy about him joining in 21. What happened?
I will.
Because he got in a fight with your little favorites? That's why.
No, because I found out how crazy he was. And the fact that he can't fucking wrestle. I was watching old NWA TNA stuff that he's in. He can wrestle there. What the fuck happened?
Age.
He forgot moves.
Age.
Now he can only do 3 fucking moves.
All right, whatever. I'm not listening to you with your fountain.
I'm right.
Your fountain of misinformation when it comes in because you don't like it.
Kevin Nash can do more moves than he can.
Bull. Kevin Nash, the lowest drawing champion in WWF history.
I know that, but he can still do more moves than Punk.
Which is funny because I liked him.
Diesel.
Yeah, I liked him. All right, special thing here. The list of the depraved, as I call it. We're going to be talking about it from here on out for certain things through the rest of the call here, through the rest of the show, because there's 460 of them. You may have heard me talk about this before. I found it years ago. Legends and tales from the locker room, but we'll get to them in a minute. Kevin Kelly removed from AEW roster page, and he was fired. Apparently, I'm hearing accusations of bullying, and he had a lot to say about how he was being used on Twitter. Why didn't Bryan Danielson just fire him? Isn't that what he does?
God, and then you called Danielson a stooge.
Well, that's all kayfabe, but he would be a stooge, really. SmackDown potentially moving to FS1 in the fall due to college football.
Who the fuck would...
Nobody cares.
FS1, don't less people have that? Like,
I don't know. I never watch it unless you know the only time I watch FS1 is when the baseball playoffs are on. Because if they got 2 games starting at the same time,
TNA used to be on there.
Yeah. They'll start one on FS1 and then go back to Fox when the other one's over. CM Punk will be at WrestleMania Fan Experience, WrestleMania 40 weekend despite being injured.
Okay, good. I'll go there and jump him over the I'll go and jump the barricade.
I love the front face lock. You just so I get a picture. Wait a minute. Hold still. I want to get a picture with you getting choked out by him.
He couldn't put me in He couldn't do that. Please. It's a brittle old man.
Forgot I wrote this one. During the Morgan Stanley Technology, Media, and Telecom Conference, TKO President Mark Shapiro was asked if TKO participated in the sale of McMahon's stock. Shapiro stated, "We did not participate in the recent sale of Vince McMahon's load that he dropped off." Don't you think that's a very poor choice of words?
And also, Punk, I'm going to keep talking shit about you until you come on this show. If you don't want me to stop talking shit, if you hear this, come on this fucking show. Because you see, this is my strategy for us getting guests. I just talk shit about people until they have to notice us.
That's how I used to get girls to go out with me. So,
it's like, oh yeah, speaking of people we want to get on the show, when I was watching NWA TNA, I saw Shane Douglas is on there a lot from the older ones.
Yeah, he was there right after.
He's got his own
WCW
faction, the franchise. With Michael Shane and...
Did you see the new WWE Hall of Fame announcement?
I know it's Bull Nakano.
And the U.S. Express. It's Mike Rotunda and Barry Windham.
Oh, I get them mixed
They were
up
the
with
tag team champions at the first WrestleMania.
And then I was also reading that there's rumors that Haku's going to be.
And there's another rumor, too, that they're going to put Bray Wyatt in because he just passed away.
But because who was the Can-Am connection?
That was Tom Zenk and Rick Martel. They aren't even going to be. They're not even allowed to visit the Hall of Fame. Right? Nobody. Rick Martel was a good wrestler. He was a former AWA World.
But Tom Zenk wasn't.
Tom Zenk's dead. I forget why. He had something wrong with him. He was young. Like, he passed away.
And who was in the Allied Powers?
That was Lex Luger and Davey Boy Smith. And then Lex Luger left Davey Boy holding his dick. And that's when he wound up becoming a heel.
And then who was in also, I'm trying to remember also, what was the Heavenly Bodies?
That was originally Tom Pritchard, which is Bruce Pritchard's brother, and Stan Lane. But then Stan retired, so it was the Doctor of Desire, Tom Pritchard, and Gigolo Jimmy Del Rey. They were very good. Jimmy Del Rey was one of the first guys I remember doing a moonsault routinely.
God, the Heavenly Bodies. This is a terrible name for a tag team.
Kenny Omega gives health update, has no timetable for return. Both of the guys were ugly, too. Like, they were anything
in the
less.
Heavenly Bodies?
Yeah, they were ugly.
Let's say Kenny Omega's not ugly. He's a very attractive man.
Yeah, when they made him look like a girl, looked like Kev's girlfriend in college. He was like, all right, I talked about Luger and DDP being at Sting's.
It's me. It's DDP.
Did you know Magnum TA, Nikita Koloff, and Scotty Riggs, the American males?
Scotty Riggs was in the front row. That's who it was.
Yeah, but did they show them?
They showed Scotty Riggs.
Yeah, but they didn't show Nikita and Magnum, who have like real ties to Greensboro.
Maybe they have the Legends contract.
No, they're not. they're not contracted with them. That's why they were allowed to sit out.
Because there were two other people next to Scotty Riggs. That
maybe they were in the can. I don't know. Maybe they both had to go to the can. Who knows?
I don't know who Scotty Riggs is. I've heard that.
He was in the American Males with Buff Bagwell.
Again, another terrible tag team name.
Yeah, they were like strippers, which Bagwell was a stripper.
Also, Buff Bagwell was in Vicious and Delicious.
Love me some Scott Norton. Did I tell you about your cousins the other day?
What?
The middle cousin, the 3-year-old, and the 7-year-old, the 7-month-old. The 7-month-old was asleep, and the 3-year-old just decided to drop a head on him like fucking Harley Race. Now, the baby could have cared less. It's just they happened he woke him up because the baby's a no-cell machine. So.
It's like The Undertaker.
JR comments on Vince McMahon on his podcast with Comrade Thompson, says we need to move on. Said he can't believe Vince will let his company get that out of control. Said this has hurt a lot of innocent people. Sounds like he doesn't believe it. I listened to the actual interview. It sounds like he doesn't believe it.
Oh, no, JR is not all there.
Well, who knows? Like, JR was director of talent there for years.
I know, he was on the plane ride from hell.
Oh, yes, he was.
He's the one that was confused when they had, I think it was Justin Credible and who else when they wheeled out Scott Hall because he was passed out.
The whole Rock, Roman, Cody, Seth thing that happened on SmackDown the other day. What was it? That would have been 3-6.
Got the fucking
or
mummer.
3-8, yeah.
The mummer and the smelly Samoans.
Rock told Cody he's 20 years younger than his siblings because he was a mistake. And Cody cuffed him one. And he really whacked him better than that slap the Rock gave him. Because like I told you.
Well, I mean, the thing with Cody it's not exactly wrong. I mean.
Well, he got married again, Dusty. That's all.
Well, I told you there's the theory that he's not Dusty's kid at all. He's Dustin's kid.
And Dustin's Dickie Murdoch's kid. Nah.
Me and Dickie Murdoch, these two golf-ball-sized hemorrhoids out his ass.
Up to date. Cody slapped him. Seth accepted. It was a good program. Heyman was holding back the bloodline. They had security out there. Aldous was out there. It looked like an old kind of, a schmaz, as they call it, where everybody's going to like fight. But I got a sneaky suspicion that not only I think either The Rock's going to fuck Roman or Seth may fuck Cody over. I don't know.
Well, because Roman's not going to lose.
I don't know.
They're going to have him break Bruno Sammartino's record.
You're not going to know until we see what happens the night one. That's going to be very telling. And even then, you won't know. Triple H's booking is more predictable than Vince's was because Vince wants to swerve everybody. A swerve doesn't mean shit if you're like, I don't get it. Like, just because you know it's coming doesn't mean you can't execute it well. It's like football. You know the guy's going to run right at you on 4th and 1. You got to fucking stop it.
This is the same shit I was just saying, and you were criticizing me for it when I was saying it doesn't matter that Danielson loses all the time.
Yeah, but that's different, though.
Besides, Danielson won. He beat Shane Taylor.
Oh, God, that doesn't make it better. All right. A win over quality talent, I'll say. Not a fat guy in swim trunks. Jericho may be aligning himself with Hook now, as injuries to Omega and suspension to Guevara leave him without a partner. I would be getting injured on purpose just to not wrestle with that fuck.
He's wrestling all the Mexican wrestlers from CMLL right now.
See, Undertaker confirmed for WrestleMania weekend.
To do what?
Who the hell knows? He's confirmed. He could be taking tickets for all I know.
Come out there and say, "Rest in peace," and then go backstage.
Did you see the Dante Martin flip over the top rope, double clothesline botch at Revolution?
No.
Oh my God. I caught it the other day on Botchamania. He went to go he looked like he was going to dive over the rope and clothesline two people. He gets his fucking foot caught and flips over and lands on his feet before he touches anybody. And then grabs both of the guys by the face and just pushes them down. It was awful.
That guy, Dante Martin's only 21.
Oh, he's not going to live to see 22. He keeps doing that. He was heading. He's lucky he flipped over. He was heading for the floor head first. But it looked like such shit when he finally landed it. Worse than that thing. Who was it that did it with one of the Mexican wrestlers who was too short to the back? And they missed him by about 8 inches. Collision attendance for 3/9/24 at the Gas South Arena in Duluth, Georgia. 2,166. Many fans said most of the arena was tarped off, looking like they knew they were going to have low attendance. That's what I mean. Why don't you run the ECW arena then? If you're going to run them
Listen, this is why being a fan of AEW is so fucking frustrating. Because they could be so much better if Tony Khan wasn't running it.
I'm going to skip over the date.
It could be so much better if I was running it. I bet you I could book a better company than Tony Khan could.
I think you could book a better show than him.
First,
I'd let you book for one night.
First, I'd release half the talent.
Put half the talent in a room and roll a hand grenade in. There you go. Start over.
I know. Put half the talent in a room, put a contract up, and say first person who grabs it.
WWE plans to advertise Logan Paul's drink Prime on the ring mat coming soon. They're doing that because UFC does that. I imagine it now since they.
Well, now they're doing more of the Woo Energy drink ads too.
Woo! And what else does he have? Wings.
Because Excalibur was saying that it's something like to fuel your limousine riding days and jet riding nights. Woo Energy drink.
Woo! Dave Scher, owner of PW Insider and former gym mate of mine.
You always fucking brag about this.
Well, I don't know. He should just break my balls at the gym because I was too busy checking out the girls instead of working. So he wrote this down about AEW. Now, Dave Scher also worked for ECW before he penned PWI or PW Insider. So I don't know why he's so hard on a small promotion. He wrote,
AEW is not a small promotion.
He's saying the show smaller than WWE. He wrote the show following Revolution. This is what he wrote. The show following a pay-per-view lost 5% of the audience. Tony is reportedly paying Okada $4.5 million a year.
Yep.
Wow. And his first appearance was part of the 5% loss. Will Ospreay's hyped first match through the two lowest quarter hours on the show.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Well, if it's a rating, you can look it up. He wrote hashtag uh-oh, but I don't think uh-oh. But he's very hard on them. But so is Dave Meltzer lately, too. I don't know. I don't understand what happened.
WWE's paying them off.
Nah. I hope not, because I don't think they need to do that. And Brock Lesnar's back on the WWE roster page. Don't ask me why. Probably in the same way that they have Punk on there. Or not Punk, Benoit.
Wait, Benoit's on the WWE roster page?
You can find them. You just can't look for them. All right, one more thing before we get to this list of disgusting bullshit. I got the Wrestling Observer newsletter star ratings for Revolution.
Oh, really?
I got them. I'm going to go over what you tell me what you think. Yeah.
Can you read through all of them?
Sure.
Starting from the top?
Well, I got it off of Reddit, so I'll give it to you in the order that I got them in. Chris Statlander and Willow versus Sky and Julia. 2. Bang Bang Scissor Gang versus Lethal Jarrett, Private Party, and Willie Mack. 2. That's a gift, I'm sure.
That's the pre-show.
I know. No. Christian Cage versus Daniel Garcia. 3 3/4 stars. All right.
It was all right.
Well, that's good. That's mainly, I'll bet you Garcia probably drug him down. Kingston versus Danielson. 4 3/4 stars.
Very good match.
I didn't see it yet because I didn't. All-Star Scramble, 3 1/4 stars. I wouldn't have given it that high. Thought that was horse shit. Strong versus Cassidy got 4. That was good. Blackpool Combat Club, FTR, 4 3/4. Another good match. Jim Cornette did not like that. You know what he said about Moxley this past week? He just did the match, and he goes, he says he's from the south side of Cincinnati. I'm telling him a liar. He's from Newport, Kentucky, right over the border. That fucking criminal. It just made me laugh.
God, Cornette hates everything.
He does. He really does. Tony Storm versus Deonna Purrazzo, 2 1/4. 2
I didn't watch that one. I was getting a snap.
I did, because anytime you see two women chunky from the waist down and they're going to fight, woo, doggy. Will Ospreay and Kalo Kasuke take a shit on you? 5 3/4 stars. Best match of the night, which it was.
That deserves it. Definitely at least 5.
Samoa Joe versus Swerve versus Hangman, 4.5. I don't think so. I would have given that a 4 at most. Sting and Dobby versus the Young Bucks, 4 3/4 it gave it. That was good just because the guy was going out. Mainly it was just like a no-sell, contest. An older guy no-selling to I'm glad the Bucks decided to put him over because I think that's the right thing to do. Whether the belts are on the line or not. Okay, are you ready for the thing that I've been talking about since you first started following the sport of professional wrestling?
This is like when I told you about that Ring Rat review website.
Well, maybe we'll do that next week. You can bring that up again. But I don't know who the hell.
Carino had the most negative reviews.
Well, I don't know. He looks kind of. Maybe he smelled. He looks kind of greasy. All right. This is entitled "Strange but True: Urban Legends of Professional Wrestling." Written by the members of the Death Valley Driver Board, compiled by a guy named Supreme. This is an old from about 2010. All right, is everybody ready? Tommy Rich soaked his balls in a beer mug full of hydrogen peroxide. Don't ask me why. Roddy Piper having a young manservant type who traveled with him wherever he goes, holding his bags, opening doors for him, etc.
Wait, what?
He had a manservant with him, and Piper and others referred to the young boy as cocksucker like it's his name.
God, that's terrible.
Tommy Rich did some favors for Jim Barnett in exchange for the NWA World Title. I've heard that one before.
What,
Jim Barnett used to be the Georgia promoter.
As in sexual favors?
Yeah, Jim Barnett was gay. They had to break Bruiser Brody's legs to fit him in a cheap Puerto Rican casket. Well, he was buried. He was about 6'8", so. Virgil got a job by unleashing his hose on Pat Patterson's desk.
That's what it says. That's what it says.
I've heard that one before. Kerry Von Erich, you know, he had his foot amputated. He used to shower his boots on. It says here, Kerry Von Erich really had his foot amputated because he thought he could walk across a room on his just surgically repaired foot for a cheeseburger, thus crushing it. NWA World Champion Gene Kiniski, who I was talking about last week, brought Kevin Von Erich a hooker in Las Vegas when Kevin was 12. I could see that with some of these older guys. I could see that. A coked-up Kerry and Kevin Von Erich were once playing with a saw blade in the back hallways at the Dallas Sportatorium. Kerry saw a cat, so he threw the saw blade at the cat and killed it.
Why?
Kerry Von Erich once saw a cat in the All Japan locker room. He put the iron claw on it and killed it. Here's your favorite. Rock and Roll Express walk in on Jimmy Valiant laying on the floor, jerking off under a glass table that a hooker is shitting on. Ricky throws up and leaves while Robert stays to watch.
Of course
I could never, that's why I was able to tell you that, because I could never get that out of my head.
Of course Robert Gibson stayed to watch.
Bruce Hart was a substitute teacher while a top promoter in Stampede and impregnated a 14-year-old student and married her. I heard that before, too. Chris Champion, who was an underneath wrestler, went to jail for inappropriately touching an underage girl while he was dressed as Cowabunga the Ninja Turtle. That was his character. Manny Fernandez, the Raging Bull, took a dump in Paul Jones' brand new Stetson hat, put it back in the hat box on the airplane like nothing happened, and went to sit back by Jones for the remainder of the flight.
Why? Why do these guys do these things?
You're on the road 300 days a year, and you don't like some people, and there's drugs and drinking involved. Dusty Rhodes booked the original, he wanted for the original main event of Starrcade 88. It was going to be Rick Steiner beating Ric Flair in 20 seconds for the world title.
What?
Well, they were high on Ric Flair. They were high on Rick Steiner when he came out of the Varsity Club, but I couldn't see it.
So I've never heard of Rick Steiner doing anything outside of being in a tag team with Scott. And then I think he showed up in TNA later.
Superstar Billy Graham once injected Clorox on a dare. I heard that before, too. That's another one.
How did he not die?
I don't know.
Or be hospitalized, at the very least.
Rip Rogers pulled Barry Windham's keys. Oh, that's stupid. Hold on, I'm trying to find some good one here. Butch Reed, the natural Butch Reed who just passed away last year, he pissed on the carpet or furniture of every motel he ever stayed in. And Johnny Valentine, father of Greg the Hammer Violent, would take a dump and strategically place where it couldn't be found inside of bedposts at the hotel.
How do you take a dump inside the bedpost?
No, like on the inside of it, not on the inside, on the underneath the bed on the inside, so you couldn't find it right away.
And he would strategically shit.
Bruiser Brody was supposed to do a shoot run-in on the first WrestleMania. I had heard that before, too. Promoters were going to pay him to go fuck it all up.
Why?
Because they didn't like Vince had gone, this was like a year into him going national. Same thing about
how would Bruiser Brody even get in there?
Oh, I don't know. It's not like you wouldn't know what he was looking. I don't know. Here's another one. Iron Sheik was offered $100,000 to break Hulk Hogan's leg instead of dropping the belt to him by Vern Gagnon from the AWA. And Hogan versus Zeus was supposed to be WrestleMania 6 original main event, not Hogan and the Warrior. Taka Michinoku once fucked Sonny while Candido watched.
You believe that?
Yeah. There was many stories about him pimping her out for drugs and stuff. Like Jake gave Candido crack so he could fuck Sonny one time. It's not out of the
I remember listening to her interview on Kayfabe Commentaries with Sean Oliver. I'm telling you, the biggest anti-drug PSA should just be a picture of her in the 90s and a picture of her now.
Oh, just a picture of her in her jumpsuit going to jail. Oh,
God, because she was talking about how she says she didn't have sex with Sabu, that Sabu claims he did.
She doesn't like black guys. We know that because she said that
about Virgil in a very racist way, in my opinion. She claims she didn't have sex with Draws, though that's another claim. She says she doesn't. She said she never had sex with Bret Hart, but apparently her boyfriend at the time of the interview thought she was lying about that.
Well, that was when Sean said the Sunny Days promo.
Yeah.
And apparently Bret's wife was upset about
it.
She
apparently had sex with a 17-year-old high schooler in a locker room within like the 2 years of that interview. Because they tried doing in the interview, she tried going through all the wrestlers she'd slept with.
Yeah, that's a 4-hour show just there. Scott Hall.
Apparently she broke up British Bulldog's marriage.
Probably. Scott Hall, when he was in the WWF, this has to do with Sonny. In the spring of '96 on a tour in Germany, Scott Hall took a dump in her lunch.
Why? Why'd you want to piss her off?
Because she's a freaking... They look at her like they probably looked at her like she was a jizz mop or something because she slept with everybody.
Not everybody.
Apparently, there's a Polaroid from the '80s of Ric Flair playing the skin flute.
Of who?
I don't know. I'm reading it off of here.
I wonder whose it would be. Dusty
Here's
Rhodes.
The one. Bill Watts pissed out of his window at the Turner office onto the parking lot below when he was president of WCW.
Bill Watts was president of WCW?
Yeah,
is that Eric Watts' dad?
Yeah, right before Bischoff. I'm looking for more here. Some of the Smoky Mountain guys used to like to take pisses in hotel ice machines. It's fucking gross. Hold on, I'm still going.
That's where
Jerry Lawler.
That's where Sonny started, Smoky Mountain.
Jerry Lawler. I know Jim gave her a start. She was only like 19. That's the thing too. You give her all that money at 19. It's rough. Jerry Lawler has a well-known foot fetish and was once caught by a valet and ring rat Miss Patricia jacking off into her shoes. Hold on, I'm trying to... Here's the famous one. Macho Man had his way with Stephanie McMahon when she was 14.
That's a very famous story.
But it's never been proven. Andre the Giant once called Kamala the N-word, and Kamala put a gun in his face.
Do you think that happened?
I've heard about that. Pat Patterson had a special relationship with Jacques Rougeau in the 80s.
Wait, Jacques Rougeau, the French commentator?
No, that was Ray, his brother. Bulldog Bob Brower, older guy from the 60s and 70s, pretty open about being a card-carrying member of the KKK, just like Dickie Murdoch.
Who said Tony Atlas to a meeting?
Here's a good one. Sabu kicking a bag down some stairs and all around the locker room, and then opens the bag and a cat comes out. All the while, Sabu has a I Love Cats t-shirt on.
I can see Sabu doing that. He's fucking crazy.
Jushin Liger has one of the worst acne pockmark faces you'll ever see.
I've never seen his face.
I have. The Iron Sheik used to do headstands while he was snorting coke. Bison Smith, who was an underneath guy in the WWF back in the day, was getting changed in the locker room. Triple H sat right next to him and stared at him the whole time just to fuck with him while he was getting naked.
That's just hazing.
Davey Boy Smith asked Dynamite Kid about steroids one time, and Dynamite gave Davey what he thought would be his first injection of steroids.
It was milk.
It was milk. You heard about that one too?
That's true, I thought.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
I thought that was like proven to be true.
Bradshaw allegedly likes to get in the shower with new guys and
I've
soak
heard that
them
before.
up. I think I told you that one.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Some of these are just ridiculous.
Like what?
Like Stephanie McMahon has a strap on and has used it on Austin Triple H in China. Like, I don't know about that. I'm looking here. Hold on.
I wish this would cite its sources. It would be even better.
Where's the one about Jerry Estrada? He's a fucking psycho.
Jerry Estrada.
He was an underneath, like, cruiserweight.
Is that related to Jorge Estrada?
I think so. I think
one third of the Flying Elvises?
It might be the same guy with a different name. But this guy, Jerry Estrada, he apparently got coked up in Tijuana, and he threw a hooker off the roof and killed her, and he got back on the plane and got out of town before anything happened.
What?
Now, Jerry Estrada's all over here. It's like Arturo Rivera, fat boy commentator, anally deflowered by Jerry Estrada. Jerry Estrada made side money. More Estrada. He's the Mexican Jimmy Snuka. Oh, here it is. He didn't wrestle Tijuana for years after getting into trouble for throwing a rat off a hotel room balcony.
Why? Is he just crazy?
I guess. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Ask Rick James. Hold on. Johnny Valentine again. Allegedly put lighter fluid in some guy's inhaler for asthma. That's so fucked up.
What would that do?
Bill DeMott once shit on Buff Bagwell's face while he was sleeping.
Buff. Marcus Alexander Bagwell.
Once Killer Khan stole a homeless man's liquor and threatened to give him a Mongolian chop if he messed with him. Fritz von Erich selling 8x10s autographed by David months after David died. He was having somebody else sign it.
Oh, yeah, I could see Fritz doing that.
I heard it. Did you see Iron Claw?
No, did you?
No, I haven't. I didn't watch it yet, though. New Jack said when he worked for XPW, he used to have to go to this warehouse, and Rob Black would pay him in hundreds of porn DVDs. What the fuck are you going to do with that? I need money to pay my rent, dude.
Like pays him in the porn DVDs, then you can sell the porn DVDs. Wait, was Rob Black the one who was found dead with cocaine and cowboy boots?
No, that's Herb Abrams. Rob Black's still alive. Raven didn't wear clothes backstage at TNA until someone complained
that his dick was too big, yeah.
Apparently it's gigantic. Steve Austin used to say that, too.
No, well, Raven's got good reviews on that Ring Rat website.
Well, because he's hung like a freaking horse. This one here just says James Storm is an asshole, but it's
Did you know he's a member of Mensa?
Oh, he's very intelligent.
I know he's very intelligent. He's supposed to be one of the... Well, that's why his promos are so good.
Here's something about that Rita Chatterton girl, the one that was the female ref that said Vince tried to rape her back in the 80s.
Has disappeared from the face of the earth.
It says Rita Chatterton, who was the WWF's first female referee, alleged that she was raped by Vince McMahon in the backseat of his limousine. Chauffeur Jim Stewart corroborated Chatterton's account and filed a lawsuit of his own, alleging that during his WWF employment, he had been forced into witnessing the commission of crimes. The case was either dismissed or lack of evidence. That'd be cool. See if you can find it. See if that guy's name starts circling. This Jim Stewart. Norman Smiley once knocked out Rick Steiner with one punch in a bar fight.
I believe that. Norman Smiley could fuck people up.
Sonny and Kate. He's a trainer for NXT still. Sonny and Candido had a three-way with Jake Roberts for some of his crack.
Oh,
Kurt Angle used to bang Jacqueline on the road while he was married.
To who? Karen?
No, before that. It would have been in the WWE, so he wasn't in there.
No, but see, he would have been married to Karen, I thought.
Not at the time. If he was banging Jacqueline, he was in the WWF. It would have been.
Yeah,
he didn't marry Karen until he went to TNA.
How many times has he been married?
Twice.
No, well, he's married now again, so that means...
Oh, no, wait a minute. No. Jeff's married her. Yeah, he would have been married to Karen.
Well,
yeah, you're right.
Blame her. Have you seen how... God, that's why Kurt was really doing the purse.
Jacqueline had...
I know, you told me this.
Some cannons on her, man. She looked structurally unsound, like she would have fallen over. Chris Adams was wrestling in Portland during 1982 and 83. He had his then wife, Jeannie Clark, along with him, and Billy Jack Haynes boinked her the entire time.
Billy Jack. You know, it's always the same old story.
No, don't do it again. The Sinister Minister supposedly stole Joel Gertner's wife. He was the ring announcer for ECW.
They even had a ring announcer.
Well, you know what? Some of these are ridiculous too. So I don't know. What do we got? Is there anything coming up this weekend? Coming up for shows or anything? No, we got WrestleMania. We're 2-3 weeks out from WrestleMania, right?
The New Japan Cup is still going on, which I'm.
Well, keep tabs on that because I want you to do results of that.
I'm our Japanese correspondent.
There's slow. There's slow news coming out about a lot of stuff. I mean, everybody's just talking about WrestleMania and everything else. So
we also got AEW Dynasty.
AEW Dynasty. Larry Hagman makes an opinion. Well, I guess we'll just cut it then. You want to say to hell with it for this week then?
Sign off!
Good night, everybody.
Get your hand off my penis!